Alright, so about 2:30, they offered me the epidural. We put in the epidural, and when I labor, I fight my contractions. I don't work with them. I can never relax myself enough to work with them, which is ridiculous because it doesn't work any other way. So as soon as they put my epidural in and broke my water, they put my epidural in, broke my water, within 10 minutes of each other. The nurse said to me, I'm going to let you have a snooze, and we'll talk in a couple hours. And I'm like, okay. So she comes back about 10 to 2, or 10 to 3, and says, I'm just going to go for my break. This is, nurse so-and-so, and she's going to be here with you. And I looked at her and I said, I think we might be having a baby. And she looked at me and I said, oh, it hurts, and I feel a lot of pressure. So she said, well, I'm going to run to the bathroom, and then I'm going to come back, because I don't want to miss this birth, so just give me a few minutes, and I'll go for my break later. And I'm like, okay. So she goes to the bathroom, and she comes back, and she checks me, and she says, yeah, you're 10. Calls the doctor, and when they came in, the doctor said, there's probably not going to be... I wanted to do this without crying, but 14 and a half years later, I still can't do it. She said there's probably not going to be any dry eyes in this room when this baby comes, and, we all understood. At this point, I still believed that they were wrong, and that this baby was going to surprise them, and this baby was going to be alive, and everything was going to be fine, and they were wrong. They were wrong. And so they set it up. My husband, I'm ready to push. My husband looks at me and says, I can't do this, and leaves me there with my mom, and he goes to the waiting room with his brother, and they wait in the waiting room, and so I push, and I watch this little head be born, and when she turned his face up at me, his little face, I looked at my mom and I said, oh, Mom, he's too blue. And I just started to sob. And the doctor said, I need your help here. You need to push. And so I pushed. And I never saw the rest of him be born. Because as soon as I saw his face, I knew. So at 3:01, June 30th, 1998, Mackenzie Wade silently entered the world. He was moved across the room. He had his cord wrapped around his neck twice. He never made a sound. He never took a breath. They cleaned him up and wrapped him up and handed him to me. I spent 6 hours with him. Then the nurse took him, and she said she would leave him in another room on the floor, and if I wanted him back, I could just ask, and they would bring him back to me. But it was too hard for my family, so I never asked for him back. I wish I'd spent more time with him, but I didn't. About 7:30, my doctor came in to see me. My dad sat with me until I fell asleep, and when I woke up around 7:30, he was gone, and that's not right. Anyways, somewhere, my dad sat with me until I fell asleep. I slept for about an hour, then my doctor came in, and he looked shell-shocked. I looked like a truck had hit me, and he looked shell-shocked. He did not expect us to lose our baby, and he just didn't know what to say. They wanted to move me from the maternity ward onto the antepartum ward because I didn't want to be around babies, so I didn't want to go to postpartum at all. But I wanted to go home, and so my doctor released me. About 9:30, 10 o'clock, they released me from the hospital. From the hospital, I went home, went upstairs, got an outfit, and went to the funeral home. And we made funeral arrangements. I do not remember very much of the conversation with the funeral director. I do remember asking him not to put makeup on my baby because I did not want him to look like he was alive, because it would have just been so hard. And I remember picking out a casket. I don't remember any of the other details. So, Mackenzie Wade was born June 30th, 1998. He weighed 6 pounds, 10 ounces. He was 19.5 inches long. He was born the day before his due date. And he was buried July the 4th, 1998 at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And it has been a tough road. But my son is a very lucky little boy. He is in heaven. He's safe. He's doesn't have to go through the hardships of this world. He and one day I'll get to actually meet him and get to know him and that kind of stuff. But we'll talk about that in another video. I'm sorry that I'm such a sobbing mess, but that is my teen stillbirth story. And if you have any questions or have experienced a stillbirth and need someone to reach out to, by all means contact me. I am 14 years in. I'm not usually a sobbing mess, but his story, telling it, is almost like reliving it. And so, by all means, if you need someone to talk to who's been in your shoes, reach out. Alright, thanks for listening to my story. Bye.